and welcome to O2 Tarot Talks, conversations about one thing you can do right now to stay healthy in your body and mind. And we always start with a little disclaimer. Today's talk is for informational purposes only. Consult your practitioner for guidance specific to your situation. And with that said, let me introduce to you today's guest. We have Barbara Barron, the Family Meals Dietitian. Hello, Barbara. How are you?
Hi, Tara. Great to be here today.
Thank you so much.
From office to office, house to house.
Yes, hopefully we'll get out again someday. But in the meantime, let me ask you, Barbara, can you tell us in one sentence how you help people?
Well, I work with moms who are juggling careers and family schedules, and they just want more time, energy, and savings, and really connecting more with their family. So that's how I help people. And now we're in the situation that we're really connecting with people, with our families.
Absolutely. We have more time together than we would have ever dreamed possible. And of course, we're all coming up with a variety of challenges because of that. So let me ask you then, Barbara, what is one thing we can do right now?
The one thing that I recommend before COVID-19 and even during and after is to become your own MVP. And that really means through moderation, variety, and planning, having a good plan. Those are three pillars that I encourage and walk through with busy moms, busy parents to help them get centered again and reconnect with their family. Just really simple steps, but I give them the tools to help them get through those hard times.
Yeah, all right, so I love that, MVP, because we all know MVP from sports and other kinds of things, so but MVP, you're defining it differently, and it's really what we can do. So tell us a little more what you mean about it, and also, please, as you do, tell us why it's important for our health, especially in this time where we are right now.
So self-care is family care. That's number one. And what I mean by MVP, and I take that little different liberty with the acronym. And the first thing is moderation. The importance of right-sized portions. And would you entertain me a little bit, and I can show you a little bit what that means?
Sure,
visually?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
It's good when we can make it practical, because I think especially in America, portion size is way out.
Sorry about that. I popped that in. So basically, let's take our sports theme and a right-sized portion. If you look at a baseball, that's about the size of a cup. A tennis ball is about the size of a half cup, and a golf ball is about the size of a quarter cup. So when we're planning meals, just keep those portion size in mind. And when you're planning your plate, and you're going to have a home run on your plate.
I like it.
The second thing is variety, and variety is so important. And there's no one food that delivers all the nutrients that we have or need. And it's also about not just nutrition, it's about the taste, the texture, and the fun that we have around food. So variety around foods within a food group, as well as among all of the food groups, is so important. No one food gives you everything you need. So that's why variety is important. And last of all, we all need a good plan. We have a career plan, we have a financial plan, we have a sports plan, right? But we need a good healthy eating plan. So that's where I come in to help moms, busy parents, to really redefine what that plan looks like and work within their schedules. So that's what I do.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. And I think, by making it concrete and showing us the sizes of the balls relative to the cup size, that really helps to remember. And I love especially what you say about needing a plan, because I know in the past, I had way too many times where I would come home and be like, let's just grab some Chinese food. Let's just get this. And I guess that's okay once in a while, but if that becomes the norm, you're definitely not eating as optimally as you can. So I think the planning piece is really wonderful. So can you tell us what would be some roadblocks that we might hit as we try to implement this sort of MVP approach?
So I think, Tara, the number one commodity for most moms that I deal with or work with is time. Time is the number one commodity. And we have dual incomes, we have dueling schedules. So we need to work around our time and we have to plan the time to have a family meal. There's so many health benefits and behavioral benefits from having family meals together. And I'm not talking about sitting down to 3 meals a day, 7 days a week. We don't live in that kind of a world, although now we do. So I'm talking about if you're eating 1 meal as a family, try and just bump it up a notch. Do 2 meals a day. Those are some of the roadblocks that you can just make some small steps or small changes to get to that 1 more meal a day. And it could be breakfast, it could be lunch, it could be dinner. And there are so many easy ways to make that meal happen at the table because we have so many items that are available to us in the supermarket. You don't have to sit and chop vegetables all day. Some of this is already done for us in the supermarkets. So there are really shortcuts that we can take to make meals faster, put meals on the table faster, as well as getting together. It's about the unity, having the conversations at the table, sharing the stories, and getting through this pandemic, having those conversations about the pandemic with your children and with your spouse. So all of those things are so important.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. When you reminded me, I love too how you mentioned the fun piece. I mean, the practical piece is really important in getting, if you can get pre-chopped stuff and whatever helps you, all that's great. But the fun piece, I think, is so often underlooked in so many instances. And it just reminded me, the other day I made pina coladas for my daughter and I. They're not real pina coladas like in a restaurant. It's just, banana, coconut cream.
Yeah.
And thanks, the other thing, banana, coconut cream. And oh my God, I'm like totally blanking on it. There's one more thing in there that I just can't think of right now. But anyway, they're delicious. And so I made them. And I said, oh, you know what? Let me grab an orange and cut a wedge and put it on there. Ooh. She's 11, She came down. I said, hey, the pina coladas are ready. She came down. She was like, oh, like so excited over this little orange wedge. And that when you said fun, that's what it made me think of, because it was like, it didn't take a lot extra, but it all of a sudden bumped the whole level of it up into like this enjoyment. Oh, I remember what the
and you're delivering good nutrition at the same time.
Absolutely.
The vitamin C and the vitamin A.
Yeah, and the good healthy fats of the coconut.
And they don't have to know about it. We don't have to know about all those little intricacies, but the fact that you made it fun with food, that's really good. And I'm sure she'll remember this for years to come. She'll remember when she's 20. Mom, I remember when.
I know. So I love that too, the fun piece. I think all of that's wonderful. So then can we talk then a little bit about what, if we have some roadblocks about time, and you just sort of mentioned sort of some short cuts that you can take. What about now? It's a little bit different for us now, as you mentioned, we're all home together all the time. And maybe, like, is there anything novel that we might do, or, given this situation, that we can capitalize on the time that we have together?
One thing that I've noticed, Tara, is time is an issue, but sometimes we're all in our own little corners, even though we're in the same house. So again, that family connection, having a connection around either the preparing of the food, maybe not now the shopping, but the preparation of the food and the eating and the cleanup. So those 3 things, schedule some kind of a time that everyone takes a break and comes into the kitchen and helps. Everyone should have a job in the kitchen. And whether it's, whoever's the cook, whether it's the mother or their partner, whoever it is should take the lead and say, give assignments, but make it fun too. And not just so like these are chores. But
Right, right.
once you start getting kids involved and each other, you learn so much, and you learn how to, what does a good vegetable look like? Uh, what does a fresh avocado look like when it's too ripe? If it's too ripe or too hard,
Yeah.
what are the features that you need? You learn these things. I remember going shopping even with my mother, and I learned how to pick a potato. I learned how to pick some leafy greens like spinach and collard greens, and um, we used to eat dandelions back then. So, and broccoli rabe, I'm Italian. So those things I learned. And when I was young, I hated the taste, but now I love it because I really do remember the memories that we had around the table. Um, so you could get kids involved in the kitchen at an early age, young as 2 and 3. They could tear lettuce by the sink and wash fruit. Maybe not so much now. You have to be careful, obviously, with the cross contamination with the virus. But they can help put a napkin on the table, put a paper dish on the table if it's I want to have no dish night, no
Right.
washing dishes that night.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
these are just little things that you can do.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah, I think the whole idea is so wonderful too, because especially since you said we could be in our own little corners and you do need some time by yourself, but if you're coming together in something that is going to be nourishing for you and also can build some positive kind of memories, like think of how much, most people smell cinnamon and they're like, oh, Christmas, you know what I mean? All those associations.
yes,
So if we can build up, make it like have a mindset of meals being like a memory building as well as, you know, physically fulfilling experience, then we can really take it to a new level. You also, when you mentioned about involving young kids, you reminded me that when my son was about probably 18 months, maybe even, yeah, probably he was very young, and I was asking him to get me 3 potatoes of the same size,
you see,
to help me cook. So then there's like all comparison and whatever, and
I
we'll see
love
how
it. I love it.
so you're right. We really can engage the young kids and in the food, in the cleaning up. There's so much learning. There's so much good, positive growth that goes on. And then it just makes the whole meal such a positive experience. So I think those are wonderful, wonderful suggestions.
Tara, there's also science behind it. There's studies that show that people, families that eat meals together, and they have, and especially with their kids, the kids have better self-confidence. They have better behavior. They have social skills because you're saying please and thank you past potatoes, and then they also have better nutrition. It's been shown, healthier weights. All the science behind that. So there's just so many benefits to a family meal. And one other thing that you just reminded me about is now with homeschooling, there's so much science and math in the kitchen, and just measuring, and as you pointed out, counting out how many potatoes to get from the bin, all of those things.
Yes, absolutely. So we can make it really authentic learning. The other thing I was thinking as you were speaking about the family idea is I attended a talk once with a person who was helping really to talk about how kids, what your role is as a parent essentially. And she said in the first decade of life, you're really teaching them about what they need to know for being successful adults. And she said in the second decade of their lives, you're really letting them implement that, because you want them, while they're still with you, to be practicing. Because if they just at 18 go off and start thinking, oh, I should be doing laundry, I should be thinking about food, they're going to really have a much harder transition. So if now, even if we have preteens and stuff, if we are letting them think about food, letting them cook it, do all those things, we really are giving them the independence that they'll need to go off and, fly the coop successfully, essentially. And we can really do it now.
Absolutely. And another skill that can also be taught is how to set a table properly, so that you're taking that the next time when you're at a dinner party, you know where the fork and the knife are and the dinner and the glasses are. And another cool tool that I can show you is the B and the D. If you take your have you heard of that?
Remind me, yeah.
Okay, so if you take your, I don't know if it will show properly, but if you take your hand and you make a B, form a B and a D,
yeah.
The B is where the bread will go, and the D is where the drink will go. So the drink will go on your right, and the bread plate will go on your left.
Oh, that is very good. I love it.
So it's a little tool that you can use.
Yeah, yeah.
Or teachable moment for kids.
Absolutely. And again, when anything with food, there's always more potential enjoyment with food because it's satiating to us, right? So if we can, capitalize on that, take the memories, the smells, all that, and build a great meal, and adds to the day, and then of course it adds to the quality of life overall. So that's so wonderful. I really appreciate all those ideas. The whole MVP plan is wonderful. And Barbara, if someone wanted to reach you, where would they contact you? What's your web address?
Well, I have a website. I have a website, barbarabaron.com. BARBARA, BARON, one R in Baron. And I'm sorry, it's just a habit that I spell it all out. Three letters in my name, but people can still it still gets messed up. Yeah. Anyway, I also offer a free discovery call, and I'm doing a free discovery call around just family meals. So I will give that link to you. And I'm planning an online program, or actually an online webinar, and I'm just going to go through some of these ideas on how we can incorporate moderation, variety, and planning, especially when it coming to the pandemic. It's like clearing the table from homework, clearing the table from the laundry, and setting the table for a family meal.
Great. All right, wonderful. So in the notes for this, I will list your website and the link that they would need for the call, and if you have the webinar up, that will be there too. But everything would be at your website. Information would be at your website, so people could contact you, right? Wonderful. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Barbara, for sharing these wonderful ideas with us. I really appreciate it. And I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you. It's fun.